Hey Jeremy, my name is Neil. I'm with Dorkaholics.
Awesome. Nice meeting you, Neil. Thanks
Yeah,
for having me here.
nice to meet you, Jeremy. So at Dorkaholics, we believe that there's a dork in everyone, and our job is to bring that dork out into the world.
Okay.
And so to kick things off, I wanted to ask, what made you a dork growing up?
Ooh. So without giving away my age, I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s. And I think I was obsessed with everything in that era. Like Jurassic Park was one of them. So I was a huge fan of dinosaurs, like Pokemon, Street Fighter, all those video games. I think that maybe classifies me as a dork. In fact, I just found the Street Fighter games the other day on Switch and I'm just replaying them right now.
Nice. And if I did my homework correctly, so the wedding banquet of this era is more or less a remake of the film made back in the 90s by legendary Ong Lee.
So you're so close. It's actually a reimagining. Back then, I mean, I don't know if you've watched the first one, but it's such a charming story. But it was in 1993, and the reimagining that Andrew, our director, did, just kind of brought it into modern times where people can probably relate to it a lot more now.
Definitely for the LGBTQIA community, things are vastly different now
Yeah,
versus then, as well as similar but also transforming relationships within the AAPI community with our parental relationships. Mhm.
yeah, totally. No, you got it right.
Yeah. And what was it like working with director Andrew Ahn? Just because he's known for so many different films. I think most recently I talked a few years ago about Fire Island.
Yeah, Andrew is great. He is such a giving director. So he takes and receives, and he is so collaborative, which was really nice about him. And I just found out recently he also directed a few episodes of Bridgerton, which I'm like, whoa, Andrew, you got such a great resume on you.
Yes. Oh yes. Bridgerton. Oh my God. I'm remembering when I found that out. He did the have you watched Bridgerton?
I have, yeah,
I mean the Colin and Penelope, enough said.
yeah, 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 totally. I think he might have even directed those episodes, the raciest ones.
Mhm. That's why I mentioned them, the
Yeah, yeah,
carriage.
yeah.
And I mean, that legendary scene amongst Bridgerton fans, it's so vast. I wouldn't say vastly different, but he touches upon intimacy in so many different ways. Like with Bridgerton, it's racy, it's spicy, it's between two lovers, whereas in the wedding banquet, it is two different couples as well as their like familial relationships like coming together.
Yeah, yeah, no, you got it right. I mean, it's so interesting how he was able to use comedy as a propeller to help tell the story. And I think it just really hits the nail on the hammer. Is that I think that's what it is to drive his point of um, chosen family.
What did you enjoy the most about, I guess, the original wedding banquet, and how did what through lines are maintained in this reimagining?
Ooh, that's tricky. I don't want to give out too much away because although it shares the same name and it is inspired by it, it is a completely different reimagining. So we, instead of like the trio that you have in the original, you actually have four. You have two different sets of couples. One gay couple played by Bowen and Chen, and a lesbian couple played by amazingly Kelly Marie Tran and Lily Gladstone. So already that dynamic is so different, and so it's so relatable too to now, where you have all these couples as friends and they struggle through life and in while getting into hijinks at the same time. I think that's
I mean, when I watched the movie, like based on what I'd known about the trailer to when I had watched it, I thought like it started off in a way I was going, okay, this is what I expected, and then the 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 climax that I thought would happen much later happened earlier on, and then the film was able to like just grow past like any assumptions I had.
yeah, yeah. No, it's such a fun story to tell. And it was just so amazing watching all these, A-list actors just work on and tell through their scope the story that Andrew's created.
And earlier you mentioned the relatability. In what points throughout the film did you find most relatable to you and your life experiences?
I would say, I mean, coming from an Asian background as well, with parents and grandparents that may not be as accepting and have traditional values, you probably have an idea what I'm talking about too. You see that little divide between parents and children where it's hard to really be your true self with your family. And I think that's why Andrew's created the chosen family as such a great theme. And so I relate to all that, honestly, just having kind of barriers with my parents and my family, and then having friends who are so close I can call them, hey, you guys are my family, come over for Thanksgiving, come over for Christmas.
Would you ever live in it wasn't called a barn, but would you live in a guest home or the main house with your best friends?
I mean, who says I haven't? Yeah, that's a chapter of my life that's happened for sure.
Mhm.
And vice versa. I've had friends who have lived on my couch, and I had almost rotating friends. Like I'd have a really comfortable couch, and they'd stay there for a few months, and then they'd get their own place, and I'd have the other friends who were like, "Hey, I can crash here for a few months." So we would live together, and it was nice to have that unity and support.
And it is such an all-star cast because it's not just Bowen Yang and Kelly Marie Tran, but also Joanne Chen, and I don't want to butcher her name, the grandmother within the
Yeah,
film.
yeah, yeah. Yo Yeonjun. Yeah,
You know, and
yeah. Well, funny enough, my main interactions in the movie are with Joan Chen,
Mhm.
and I'm sure I've already told her that my mom was actually such a huge fan of hers. She's like, "You're in a movie with Joan Chen?" And I was like, "Yeah." And in my mind, I'm like, "Do you not know Lily Gladstone? Do you not know Bowen Yang? You don't know?" And she didn't. She knew Joan Chen, and I was like, "Oh, okay. She must be a big deal because my mom's impressed with something I'm doing." Uh, and I told Joan, and Joan was just so sweet about it. She is also a phenomenal actress. Just watching her emote in our scenes and just in each take was just like a masterclass in acting.
I mean, this is like my second time seeing Jonah in a work. Previously, I saw her in Dee Dee, and I had the chance to interview her. And it's just so interesting because when I met her through Dee Dee, she talked about that role was like her second like attempt at being a mother to a teenager, vastly different because she was in real life she is the mother to two daughters. In Dee Dee, she was the mother to a daughter and a son, and the son was like a skater boy.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
now in the Wedding Banquet, she gets to play like the mother to an adult woman who is in a lesbian relationship. And it's like, wow, you get to just bring your motherhood into this, but also apply it to these experiences you've never had in life.
Oh, totally. I mean, you would think that they're real mother and daughter,
Mhm.
just with the dynamic they have.
Yes, because it's such a complex and raw relationship that they have that it was she's learning to be a mom for the first time, so you have to give some sympathy, but at the same time, like, hey, she has to take some responsibility for the experiences that her daughter is facing in her adulthood.
Yeah, no, totally.
Mhm. Sorry, can you say the name of the grandmother's?
Oh, Yoo Yeon Jun.
I just found her to be kind of like the center point for the film because it's not just she's someone's grandmother, but she gets to build a relationship with like most of the cast at some point throughout the film.
She is so fun too, and I mean, we think of Bowen as hilarious from his work in SNL, but really comically, Joan Chen and Yo Yeon, YJ as we call her,
Mhm.
they are hilarious. Just hanging out with them, just all their remarks. They It was a really close cast, and I think having them just really brought kind of a family unit to it.
What will you remember most about your experience on the wedding banquet?
Oh, so many things, honestly. One thing that does stand out, honestly, is just a week before I was trying to get fit and I was trying to learn Taekwondo. So I started taking these Taekwondo lessons, and just a week before, I actually broke my foot right before filming. So I had to call up wardrobe and had to get, please give me shoes that are 5 sizes way bigger than what I normally wear. And then there's like a little part where they were asking me to dance, and I don't know why, but just having those shoes on me during set made everything so much harder. And I would just bump into all these chairs and walk around set. And every time that happened, everything would stop and be like, "Are you okay?" And it was just like that's never happened to me before on a film set where I've been so injured where I'm limping, and you have to kind of just work through that pain and enjoy it and every minute of it. So that just really stood out for me in my experience.
Well, I was none the wiser. You moved gracefully up those stairs onto the stage.
Thanks. Yeah, that was hard.
I mean, what was being in the room like for that? It wasn't a gala, but it was like a honorary ceremony at the beginning of the film that we see your character.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a gala. You actually got it right. It was a gala mentioning, and promoting the API, which stands for Asian Pacific Islander, the LGBT community they have in Seattle. So this is something that we recognize the parents of the children where they've just been in really big support. And so I'm just head of that organization because I've clearly had a few things with my parents, as all people have, and I've just found so many other mentors.
Mm.
And I was just recognizing them in the gala.
And then in your real life, do you do any type of work similar to your character?
I should do more. I really should do more. I've been pretty busy with work, but I would like to give back at one point.
Well, we're excited to see where life takes you, Jeremy. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you so much, Neil.